Hello buddy, Miles Farman, and welcome back to another vlog. So we're outside, as you can see. There's the willow. It's an okay day here in Great Britain. It has been pissing down for the last fucking week or so. It's, well, probably even longer than that. Well, not pissing down, but anyways. So we've got the Major out because we've been burning some shit. You know, all the stuff you gather over the winter, like wrapping paper for Christmas and all that crap. And it is all slowly burning away. Now, I just wanted to show you. This is my. I found the year out because I'm having it road registered. It's a 1960 Mark III Power Major. All of it's still the original. That's still the same engine to that transmission and all that. They all line up with each other. So yeah. So I'm not. When I have it road registered, I'm not having a plate on the front. I'm actually going to fit my toolbox to the front because, as you can see, there's a great big roll bar I've now fitted. And it doesn't fit on the wing anymore, so I've had to move it. So I think I'm going to mount it on the front here. There's going to be a plate on the back. You can see I've had this tractor, oh god, it must be about 3 years now. And as you can see, she's starting to show a bit of wear. I do abuse it a bit. I know I should probably take a bit more care. As you can see, it's all dented there and the badge is rotting and that's all whatever. I know I should probably take a bit more care of it, but I just love it. I love just ragging the thing around. I don't rag it hard when it's cold. I let it warm up and everything. And I always go for a spin, you know, either, you know, once a week or so, just to keep it going. Even in the winter I still do it. Now, as you can see, it's not the nicest looking machine. It was never restored to show condition or factory condition. It was just restored so it didn't rot away. Because if you've actually watched the very first video that when I bought it, which was it's about 3 years old, that video now, I reckon, 2-3 years old. It come off a farm. Well, it came off actually a small holding with a loader. What, Willow? What do you want to throw? Fucking obsessed with rocks, you are. It came off a small holding with a loader, and the bloke used to sell conventional bales. And that's all he used it for, was shunt conventional bale around. Sorry, not bales, balers he sold. And that's all he did. He never did fuck all else with it. So I've replaced, I've probably said this a load of times, but this is just what I've learned. I've put new tyre front and backs, all complete. This is a link box I bought off someone for about 75 quid. And it's coming quite handy today. Something making some weird noise. So it's got the trailer hitches there, which is one of the ones you can swing either way. I just take the middle out whenever I've got anything on the back. A couple of vans going down the road. Now, as you can see, it's got a hydraulic pipe. I've also had to fit that because that's out the outlet of the loader. I fitted that because my trailer that I bought is a tipper, so I wanted something to tip it with. Now, this is actually a roll bar I got off of Grey Fergie, which I bought, which was the TEF, if you ever watched that video. And this was a roll bar that came with it. Oh god, I sold that. Must be 2 years. Shut up! Can you not see I'm busy, dog? Bloody thing. No, I actually said that in a video. I actually told my dog to shut up once, and someone had a right go at me in the comments. I'm saying shut up to it. We don't abuse animals. We don't tell them to shut up permanently. Just whenever you're trying to record or bark, we're trying to get it to stop barking is what we're trying to get it to do. But I just tell it to shut up. I don't know what you like. It doesn't like toys, it likes rocks more than anything. But anyway, as I was saying, so yeah, hydraulic pipe there with a quick coupler on. Seat, this is an original seat. This came off a greens roller that someone was going to scrap at my work, and I wrenched the seat off it because I like a bit of comfort in my life. And it's good. It wants a bit of padding and stuff gluing back, but it'll do for this machine. It needs an arm freeing off. That arm there has never been freed off since I've had it, and it was seized when I got it. I just never bothered with it because I was going to tell myself I'm going to replace it, and I never get around to doing it. So maybe this year's winter coming up I'll replace it. As you can see, it's a bit battered on the wings. It's a bit chipped. The reason for that is this spins around and grabs it and chips it as you lift it up. So I'd have to replace that to stop the chipping. And I don't restore tractors to show condition because they're endlessly doing stuff when they're with me. Like, this thing's pulling engines in and out of that shed. It's pulling trailers out fields. It's got the topper now. you know, it'll soon be on the road. That's why there's a beacon and all this. I did stray pipe it for just shits and giggles. I've also got log splitter for it. You know, it doesn't just sit, and I take it to a show now and then, and that's all it does. You know, I do work them, but not very hard. Hopefully it'll go back on the Tedder this year again. Now the roll bar I've had to modify. I had to cut the bottom off because there's a bottom piece that fits onto these brackets here, which I just cut off. It won't fit, so I just cut them off. That roll bar will never move. I picked the back end of this tractor up with the roll bar on the forklift, and it didn't wiggle anywhere. So it's pretty firm. It's a good way to test it. The bolts and the nuts and bolts that we used to tighten them up, we used one of them air wrenches, so they're as solid as fuck. So it will probably, a few years now, when it has a few rattles on it, it'll probably move somewhere, but for now it's safe. I don't intend rolling the bloody thing over, but you never know, do you, when you're topping and things like that. Just coming around to this side, it's got this brown wire. Yes, I know, looks ugly. It's for the beacon. It's only temporary because I'm going to get some blue, and I'm going to get some, like, this isn't even 12 volt. This is like, I think this is like standard house wire for lights. So it's quite thick stuff. It's just what I had lying around. I thought I'd just dummy up what I want, and then I'll properly do it when I get some wire. Now it has got a few leaks, as I said. It leaks on the steering. No, sorry, it leaks on the fuel, not the steering. Steering's fine. It is the old Simmons pump design, which they all were. But yeah, it does me for what I want. It's had new tacho thing, whatever that is. I can't remember its bloody name. Hour counter, that's what I call it. Fuel filters, oil, engine oil's had new engine oil. Needs new transmission oil, but I've never got round to it. So before I actually really start taking it topping, I need to order some, because I need to do the rear PTO, and the clutch pedal seal is now starting to drip a little bit. It's only very little, it's dripping. So yeah, headlights, I've wired them in as well. It's had new grille, new nose cone because the other one was fucked. New wings as well because the other one, someone had bolted squares to them. They had shell ones and they must have cut them flat like that, square, and then welded a square box over them like that, and they look shit because they used to cut into the tyres. Now I know my tyres are a bit cut, as you can probably just see. They've got a bit of wear and tear, but it is from pulling engines out there. The shed's not even fully concrete. That's for another video, so I won't do that today. It is the standard 4-cylinder version. This isn't a straight 6. I would have liked it to have been a straight 6. It would have been mean, but it doesn't have the straight 6. Coming on to where you sit, high and low. So up is low, high is down. So it's in high range right now. You've got, in high range it's 2nd, 4th and 6th, and in low range it's 1, 3 and 5. So it's in 1st, that's 2nd. Now that's how awkward majors are. As you can see, you sit here and that's where the gear stick sits, in 2nd. That's why I was in 1st. And then across the box towards the key is 6, and then reverse. Your gauges, so this is your tacho and rev. As you can see, she's only on 593 hours. She was on 48,800 and something when I got her. So I've only done 500 hours, not even 1,000 yet. Temp generator, that's your dynamo and oil. Now the one nice thing about the Agriline keys for these things, I don't know if it's just Agriline that do them, but you've got your key and this little switch here does your lights. So this still needs to have rear lights put on because it's a requirement, I think, but I've got a set, so I'm just going to put them on anyway, even if they're not a requirement, but I think they are. I've never looked, but anyway. So yeah, you just put in there and there's a section you can have for high, low and all that stuff. Of course, there's your air filter. Open up in here. Now I've never painted underneath this bonnet, so the bonnet is actually all still like original paint, so it's still the original blue, because I never bothered with it. I never bothered with this neither. So it's had new breather, new injector lines across there. Now this tractor has squeaky brakes because they're fucked. It has had new brakes and I did do them up, but something's gone wrong on one of the shafts and they don't enjoy it. Battery, this is to make the beacon go around, so you put your one wire in there, that wire sparks with it, but your beacon comes on. So that's the bit of crude system I've got at the moment. It was just a test run to actually make sure it worked and it went everywhere, and the dogs dropped me a rock. This is the one thing about this dog, it'll drop you a rock. We were on the other side of the tractor and it's dropped it there, as if I can just reach under. Now if you're wondering what Willow actually is, like in the way of breed, she is a collie cross with a Labrador, I think, if I remember correctly. It's had new front wheel bearings as well, because the other ones were fucked. It's had a new breather pipe from the tank, not breather pipe, it's a feedback. Air filter oil, it's had new wiring loom everywhere. In 3 years I've never changed this little hook in here. It's like a circle one of these, and it needs to be a spade connector, and I've never changed it. I've had this tractor 3 years, I've never ever changed it. Because it just works, I've never bothered with it. Had a new radiator in, the fan cowl's alright, so it's kept that one. It's had new cups, fuck are these? Like the things the bonnets can latch to, latch covers, that's it. Well, as you can see, the wiring that needs, you have to kind of keep this wire quite tight because it starts to sag onto the manifold, but it stays out the way of the fan, so that's all okay. Now the lights on this are a little bit high for the original Majors, but I just drilled them, so they're alright. I don't know if you can see much that side, it's all manifold that side and air intake and everything else on the throttle. And that's really it for how the Major goes. It's either still on or it's had. Sorry, I can just see whispers of little bits of smoke, and I think it's because every so often I have to clean this little filter out in there and on here, and I think what it is the diesel's, because the block's warm. It was at temperature, but now it's not. So it's all sort of warming up. When I took it on the hay bob, that gave it a good run. What else has it had? It hasn't had any new steering. The only thing it had was a new steering box. The other one blew up, but that's about it. Tank's original. But that's it, really. Yeah, it's a grey Fergie roll bar. So people say they don't fit. They do. They just take a bit of modifying. That one probably would have fitted. You could probably put the bottoms back on. All you'd have to do is get a piece the same width and weld that to it and then make them fit, but it'll do for me. As long as, I mean, if worst came to worst and this tractor did roll over, I wouldn't probably stand a chance anyway, because it made a 3-ton forklift nod when we picked the back end up, so you can see how heavy she is. And also, when you have roll bars, you're supposed to have seat belts as well to keep you in the seat, because if you jump when the tractor or the machine is turning over, it'll just grab you and you'll die anyway. So if it rolled over, I'd be dead anyway. That's the nice way of putting it. Now, the one big thing this tractor actually needs is a rear crank seal. It's slowly dying. It's never had a fan belt neither, since I've had it. That's still the fan belt it came with. Had a front crank seal when it first came, but if you see underneath here, you can see there's like this little plug thing here, this plug here with all its weird and wonderful oil. So yeah, that crank seal dying slowly. You have to split the tractors to do it, and it was just too much at the time because it wasn't even in a shed when I was restoring it. I had it outside. Let me just dip the oil, make sure that's still the right colour. But yeah, so I suppose you want to hear the straight pipe. So that is I think it's it's 3 foot tall, and it's something width, like wide diameter at the bottom. I think it's 2.25 inch, not inch, yeah it is inch at the bottom I think, but I had to modify it. I had to cut a piece off the old Agriline exhaust that fitted in there and weld it on to the right place. My brother welded it on, I just cut it. And that actually, if you have one of these Agriline exhausts and you get fed up of it leaking and bypassing up the side of the bonnet, cut the ends off, because this bit here is actually thicker in diameter, so when it pushes in the exhaust it actually squeezes in. So you have to rattle fit that in, like actually proper wobble it in before it'll actually go in. There's no like shortcut like that just comes in and out super easy, because that bottom bit is kind of turned in, if you know what I mean, to fit in. I mean, it only comes to about there really, where that lip is, because that exhaust in there is actually a little bit smaller than that one. But anyway, you all probably want to hear it run. So, trying to find the best place to put you, because you're on a tripod at this moment in time. I think here, drop my legs. I mean, this is the one problem with this GoPro, is it doesn't have a rear camera, so you can't actually see. What I might do is also, whilst it's sun shining in Britain, I might give it a quick wash, because it's covered in shit. I know there's tractors out there that just stay covered in shit all the time, but this one's, she's old. You know, she's 1960, so you've got to give her a little. Now, I don't know how well you can see that. I get down to the GoPro height. It's a bit weird because of the ground level here. There was an old tree stump and you're kind of right in it. Now, what's happened is my tripod is all fucked. Oh, that's what it is. That screw's come loose. Right, I'll screw that up. My screws are coming loose, so that should be about it. So, you're going to see my face. Now, it won't need the button to start. There is a cold start button on these. It won't need it. And there we go. Now, I didn't let it run for very long because neighbours, and it is quite late in the afternoon, so you can't make too much noise. As much noise as I like to make. So yeah, that's it. So that's kind of the history and how I came to own it. I didn't explain that. I'll explain that now. I actually bought it, and it was on the oddest thing that I bought it, because I was actually looking for a Massey at the time, and this tractor was underneath a Massey 175 that I was looking at, and the 175 was about £3,000. I had the money to get the 175, and it was in nice condition. It had a loader, and it was lovely. You know, it wasn't too bad, but it was a bid. You had to put a bid on it, and I clicked on this, and I had a look,